just like Whoopi's dress.
Okay,
and the shoes, the red shoes, those are bad.
So,
They're plastic.
we think she looks real
Even better.
Yeah.
We may all be in plastic shoes. The way
Where we're going.
So true.
Thank you so much for being on with us. We're very pleased. And we know you have your big global initiative for 3 days this week, and we will talk about that. But we're going to start off talking about politics. You knew we would, didn't we? Yes, okay.
I did.
Okay. So let's start at the beginning. Did Senator Clinton really want to be vice president? And did you want her to be vice president?
Not really, no. I mean, first of all, I had no...
Not really. She didn't. Not really. You
Not
didn't.
really, she didn't, and I had no real opinion. I think that it's very important once a party gets a nominee. It's a very personal decision who should be vice president. And I like Senator Biden a lot. I think it was a good choice. She would have been the best politically, at least in the short run, because of her enormous support in the country.
But you didn't want it.
Not particularly. But she didn't. She said that if he asked, I'll do it because it's my duty. But I think, look, she loves being a senator from New York, and she has more freedom to develop her positions on the issues and do her things. But the main thing is, she thought, she'd been through it with me. So the main thing she thought is, I should have no opinion on this. I need to get out of this.
You.
She, Hillary.
Yeah.
She and I, we would get out of it and let Senator Obama make his decision. He should be free to make it. Senator McCain should be free to make it. It's their decision, and it's incredibly personal.
Okay, so let me ask the follow-up. Some people feel that Senator Obama did not choose Senator Clinton because he didn't want you in the bargain. So I'm sure you heard that. Well, we have to, we have to be equal on Republicans. So my question is, why didn't he pick a senator? And had he chosen her, would the Republicans have chosen Sarah Palin? So first...
Well, first of all, I don't know the answer to that. I think that he felt more comfortable with another choice, and you have to respect that. Secondly...
Was it because he didn't want you along?
I have no idea, but there was... If anybody thought that, they were just reading the political press and believing it, because I wouldn't have been in this race if Hillary hadn't run. Well, what I do now is what I'm doing this week. I've got AIDS projects in 25 countries, healthcare projects. I sell medicine in 69 countries. I have these global warming projects all over the world. I have this childhood obesity project here in America. I'm sort of... Yeah, I'm out of politics. I love what I'm doing now. And whether she were running or not, I mean, if she were in office, I'd do whatever I was asked to do. But if what I was asked to do was to never darken the door of the White House, I'd say, thank you very much. I'm going to go do my life because I like what I'm doing now. Right. And I think we have quite enough people involved in, the political squabbles, and we need more people trying to solve problems and save lives. So that's what I do now.
When Hillary conceded, I think it hit every woman in the gut when she conceded. Was that a tough choice for her to make? What was the discussion that you and her had before she did that?
No. Some of the people who were for Senator Obama was saying, well, why didn't she just fold up her tent after we won all these little caucuses in February? And she said, because I can still win the popular vote, and if I get ahead in the popular vote, maybe then I'll win. Well, she did get ahead in the popular vote, even though she was outspent by $40 million. She did a great job.
She did.
But when the superdelegates, enough of them declared for him so that he had the votes to win, we have been through these divisive party fights before where the division of the party wrecked any chance we had to play in November. And she didn't want any part of that. And I didn't. So she stayed till the very end, and then when it was obvious that the only purpose of going to the convention would have been to perpetuate the differences between them, she then withdrew. But she stayed till the very end. I was really proud of her for finishing the course. And I thought all these people had said she ought to quit. I said, we're not big on quitting in my family. And if you, and her especially, she's not into that. But I think she did the right thing to finish it when she did and the way she did. I'm immensely proud of her.
While we're on the subject of Hillary, before we move on, what do you think about the press saying that, or
the statistics, really, on the polling, saying that a lot of Hillary's supporters are now throwing their support behind McCain because of Sarah Palin. Do you think that's a legitimate claim?
I think some are, because, look, we all know this. Voting is a complicated process. We give our allegiances to candidates and parties and issues for all kinds of reasons. We vote for some people because we like them, even though we disagree with them. We vote for some people because we identify with them on race or gender. We vote for some people because we identify with them on this issue and it's more important than these 4 issues. It's not an entirely rational process, and it's different for everybody. There is a woman who's a feminist and a liberal Democrat in the Washington, D.C. area who is, I think, a psychologist who wrote an article the other day I read saying, I'm going to vote for Senator McCain because of Palin, because I think gender is the dominant factor in American life, and I think that I have to vote this way. And so some people thought that, and Hillary never begrudged, for example, any African American who supported Barack Obama who said, look, I want my kids to know they can grow up to be president and do whatever they wanted to. So you can't tell someone else that the ground on which they make their voting decision is irrational.
Even if it's against their interests.
Yeah, even if it's against their economic interests. Because, look, none of us define our lives primarily or exclusively in economic terms. The purpose of having a good economy, the reason we're all tormented about what's going on now, is you want a good economy because it empowers us to define our lives in the ways that really matter. But it's not what really matters to us unless we don't have it. If you don't, if you've been like Whoopi has, you've been without a job, you can't feed your kids, you've been all this stuff, then it's the most important thing in the world. Once you get to a certain threshold, then you want to create a life. You want to fashion it based on your values, your dreams, what you want for your kids. So I think we can't tell anybody that they don't know what they're doing because they voted for X candidate instead of Y.
Do you think that, there's been a lot of talk about sexism in this election, and that your wife would be a victim of that, of the sexist media and what people are saying, and Governor Palin also a victim of that? Do you agree with that line of thought?
I think there's been some of it, but I think a lot of it is almost subconscious. And that maybe makes it more insidious. I think we have become, because of what we've been through the last 40 to 50 years, more sensitive to our own tendency to be racially insensitive or to be discriminatory. I think that the perceptions we have about women and men and their roles and what they should do and how people feel threatened or not by this or that or the other thing, I think that's a lot harder to unpack. Do I think there was some of it in the election? I do. And it's interesting. I noticed in West Virginia was the only place I saw exit polls. They actually asked voters if Senator Obama's race or Hillary's gender had anything to do with their voting. And 15% said yes to race and 20% said yes to gender. And I actually thought that was a good thing, and I'll tell you why. Because it showed that there was a certain self-awareness about this. If you sort of fess up to where you're coming from, then you can talk about it.
It's taken us a long time, President Clinton, to have you on the program. We are not going to let you go because we want to come back and talk about the economy, and we want to talk more about the global initiatives. So stay with us. We will be back with President